All right, we are live. Hello, everyone. I hope you guys are having a great week so far. But joined by Stephanie and Ashlyn, and this is going to be a party.
It is.
Exciting stuff.
This is a really good way to start. I wonder if anybody has, if it's the morning for you. Cheers to the coffee, the caffeine.
Ashlyn, we have coffee or what? Yep,
Yay.
coffee. You have to do all the different kinds, but let us know. This is a question that we always ask in our webinars, but put in the chat, where are you from? How are things going for you today? Good morning, Darlene. Hello. But we're here in the Midwest, at least Stephanie and I are, and it's finally warm out. It's like 60s, and I'm so confused, but
It's so
not
nice.
mad. Oh, okay. We're getting in some different locations. North Carolina going great. Yay. Orlando, Vermont, all of the places. I'm seeing a lot of Florida. So hello, Florida.
Ooh, I wonder what's the temperature there. Is it like hot and sticky and spicy and feeling good? Because I'm jealous.
What everyone wishes for when it's cold in winter.
I know.
Honestly.
Oh, raining
Colder
today.
than normal, Julie says. So, all right. No, this is awesome. I'm so excited to see all of you guys in here today, but we have a really exciting webinar workshop planned for you guys. And so without further ado, I think we should go ahead and get started just to make the most of our time if we are ready. But as always, I didn't put this in a slide, but if you've been on one of Travefy's webinars before, you know that we always record these sessions and we will put it up on our YouTube later today. So stay tuned for that. If you have to hop out or if you have a friend who wasn't able to join, just let them know that we are recording. But for those of you who just joined here, just to introduce ourselves once again, my name is Bonnie and I'm an education coordinator over here at Travefy. And I am joined by Stephanie, who also works over here at Travefy as the education manager. And then lovely Ashlyn, who is joining us from TIQUE. She is going to tell us all about TIQUE, what they do to help advisors really run their business even better. And so we have so many exciting things planned. And I want to make sure you guys know a little bit about what our schedule is going to look like for this workshop, because we have a lot that we are packing in today. And so for all of you who maybe aren't familiar with Travefy, this is your first time hearing about Travefy, but you know about TIQUE, I want to make sure you guys know about our platform and really lay the basics down. And so another fun thing you can put in the chat is, are you coming from Travefy or are you coming from TIQUE? Or maybe this is your first time hearing about the both of us and you just kind of want to know what we're about. Let us know. I think that's always fun to hear where you guys are coming from. But on Travefy's end, I'm going to take it from the top. We are going to dive into what automations are, what are tasks, task lists, and then we're going to demo a few of those just to lay the foundation for Ashlyn's part of this workshop, where she can tell us all about the TIQUE templates and how those workflows can really help you out in today's age. And so we'll go through a bit of Travefy. We'll hand it off to Ashlyn. She'll hand it back to us to go over a few upcoming updates that you can expect from Travefy's side, as well as some additional resources. And then if we have time, which I'm hoping we do, we'll try and go through some different questions in Q&A. And so I'm really excited for this workshop. I think these are always really great ones to learn a bit from each side, especially when it's a partnership like this. And so to dive right on into things, what is Travefy? Well, to put it as simply as I can, because we can go really in depth, and I can do that if you guys wanted to, but to keep it short, we help you run your travel business like a pro. And that means trying to find and create tools that you can use throughout your workflow. And so everyone's favorite, I'm learning that this is actually everyone's least favorite for some reason, marketing. We create marketing tools for you, such as pages to create websites for yourself, to create travel landing pages for yourself, to put your brand and your agency out there, and to help you grow and gain more leads. Not only that, we have some amazing forms in our library. We also have form templates, PCI compliant credit card authorization forms, electronic signatures. You can put your terms and conditions on there. These are all tools to help you gather lead information to put into your client management system. And we're going to be talking a bit about that client management system today, not only for some upcoming updates that you can expect from Travefy's side, but this is where you can charge planning fees if that is something that you charge clients. Automations live in here, as well as tasks. So we'll talk a bit about that obviously today. But not only that, Travefy has great partnerships, just like this one with TIQUE, but also different suppliers, tour operators. We want to make content easily accessible to you because that is a part of making sure you can save as much time as you can. I think really with today's topic of task automations, workflows, you're wanting to grow your business, you're wanting to have a lot of clients that you're constantly working with, but at the end of the day, you only have so many hours that you can dedicate to your agency, to what you're doing. And so we're going to find some ways that you can save time and grow your capacity. But where we got started at Travefy was in our proposals and itineraries, and we have so many features just within here to make sure that your quotes look beautiful and that your itineraries really continue to stun them from the beginning of their client touch base to the end to the client management. And really, there's so much to talk about, but we are going to focus in today on those tasks and automations. But as with anything, do you know that we have an amazing support team? So please take advantage of these resources. If you want to set up a one-on-one training, you want to set up a team agency training, you want to join one of these webinars or one of our on-demand ones, we have so many resources available to you because we want you to get as much value out of our system as possible and continue to learn with all of these different features that are coming out and how it can help you and your business. So take advantage of them. You can always chat us within your account, or you can email us at professional@travefy.com. But let's go ahead and talk about task and automations. This is always a subject that can be a little bit scary, or it might be that thing where you know you have to get into it. It's just a matter of getting it done and you're kind of pushing it off. I completely understand. It's sometimes just the thing with administrative items. But task and automations can help you so much in not only growing your capacity on how many clients you can handle, but this is going to help make sure that your clients feel so cared for throughout the entire process because you aren't letting things slip through the cracks. There's always going to be room for human error. You might forget this here, forget that here. But these tools are going to help you stay on top of things even when it feels like your head is just above water. And so what is a task in Travefy? That is really what we call task reminders. And if we want to keep this as simple as possible, think of a task or a task reminder as a reminder for yourself. This is a reminder for yourself to get something done. You can add a task or task reminder. I'm going to use them interchangeably, but you can add them to a contact profile or you can add them to a trip. So if you need to get something done for a specific contact, like I need to email them happy birthday, that is a task reminder that you can put on a contact. You can also do it for that trip. Not only that, but if you have Travefy Pro downloaded, that's the free app for travel advisors in your app store that you can download. You can manage your itineraries on there. You can view a lot of your usage and client views on there, but you can also manage your tasks. So when you're on the go, you are living your life, you can get reminders that say, hey, you have 5 tasks that you need to get done by 5 p.m. You can check them off. You can log into Travefy on your phone, of course, to get things done, but that's going to help you as you're just living your life. Not only that, if you don't have Travefy Pro on your phone or your mobile device, no worries. You'll also receive email notifications. We want to make sure you're notified about these deadlines that are coming up. Not only that, I'll show you when we're in the demo portion on how you can see some different notifications on things that are due that day as well. But again, just take a step back to breathe a little bit. Task reminders are reminders for yourself. Now, the other thing that pairs with a task are automations. And to keep this as simple as possible too, an automation is where you are really having Travefy send something out on your behalf. Whether that is a form like a credit card authorization, or if you're asking for passports, you can automate that as well. You can automate trip chats, planning fees if that is something that you charge, and so many ways that you can make this work for you and your workflow. And so again, task reminders are reminders for yourself. Automations is automating Travefy to send something out on your behalf. Now, an example that I always like to bring up is a lot of you guys, this might be a part-time job or this might be a side hustle of yours. You might have another job on top of this. Feel free to let us know if this is your full-time job or if this is a side hustle in that chat. But a lot of times it's, my life is so busy right now just with everything going on. How can I make sure that things are sending out within business hours, that it looks professional, that my clients are seeing what I'm sending? And so if you are working a full-time job, this is your side hustle, you might be working some odd hours, and that's totally okay if that's what you are doing. But you can always automate these to send out instead at 10 a.m. versus 10 p.m. at night. So start thinking about some different ideas, some different ways that you can have automations do the work for you. And so we're gonna also take a look at this as kind of a equation, if you will. We're going back to school. So automations, think of them as action items along with a scheduled date. That is your automations put together, to put it as simply as we can. So we have automations, we have tasks. What happens when we add those together? That's where we create task lists, and that's where TIQUE comes in really handy with all of their different templates that they have done a lot of research on to make sure advisors are spending their time wisely. And so what can we do at Travefy to help you with all of that? Now, another way to think of task lists, this is a workflow. This is something that you do consistently for either clients or for your trips. This is where you don't have to set an individual automation. You don't have to set an individual task each time. So I'm going to give you another example, and a lot of this is going to make a lot more sense when we're actually demoing this. But if you always send out a thank you note at the end of someone's trip and you always want to set a task reminder to just close the trip up, well, that's a task list right there. You do it for every client, you do it for every trip. So instead of having to set up 2 things every time, set a task list, one and done. But one other little testimony before we jump into our demo really quick is, Kim Little here, she says, task and automations is just such a great way to have a reminder, especially if you do work that full-time job, or even if you do this full-time, to keep you organized and to keep your clients organized. And if anyone's interested in learning how she does it, this is an advisor who uses Travefy. We actually have a How I Travefy video on YouTube where she walks you through how she uses it within her own agency. In case you don't want to hear from me, Stephanie, of course, it's always nice to hear from your other advisors. But let's go ahead and take a look a little bit on how we can set this up within Travefy. And I'm going to keep repeating myself. I'm going to try and keep this as repetitive as I can, just because that, I think, really hits home on what all of this means. So if you aren't familiar, I know we have some folks who this is the first time you're hearing about Travefy. This is what your homepage looks like. This is your trip list. And if you remember from some earlier slides, I mentioned how in your contacts, you actually can set up task and automations. Just like so. I'm actually going to focus in on trips today just because that is really where TIQUE's templates shine. And so just know that you can set up task and automations in your contacts, but today we're going to focus in on one area to keep this as simple as possible. And so for the first one that I'm going to do, I'm going to grab this trip that I've created. It's Cynthia's Birthday Cruise 2025. To give you a little backstory, I had created 3 proposals. She went ahead and approved one of them. And now it's all about, let's make sure that I get everything that I need to get done for this client. So when you open a trip, you'll have trip activity, people, task and automations, and notes along with all of the resources you've included on this trip. I think you guessed it. We're going to hang out in that task and automations area for right now. And let's add some things in. When I select that add button, we have 3 different options. We have automation, task, and task list. Let's start off with the task. If anyone can remember, that is where it's a task reminder for yourself to get something done. So I'm going to select task, and it's going to show up something like this. And for me, I always like to work my way from the top to the bottom. I think that makes a lot of sense within Travefy. And so let's set up a really simple task together. I'm going to type in the task name. So what is the reminder that I need to get done? Well, for this one, we are going to say add travel insurance to the itinerary. We'll type that out. I'll click out of there. So now this is my reminder for myself. I'm the owner of it. It's assigned to the correct trip. This is the one that my client approved of and is going with. But now I'm going to zoom in so you can hopefully see this a little bit better. What's my due date? What time do I want to get this done by? And do I need to add any additional notes? Well, for my due date, let's go ahead and set a date. Maybe I need to get this done by Friday. So we'll select Friday, which is the 28th. And from here, let's add in a time. I'm going to give myself some grace. It's not going to take all that long, but I'm going to give myself until 5 p.m. on Friday. I'll type in 5 p.m. I'll click out of there. And now this is such an important piece. Once you put in your time, you're gonna get a little toggle that says remind me. If you want that reminder where you're gonna get that push notification on your mobile app, or if you don't have the app, you get an email reminder, toggle this on. It doesn't hurt to have it turned on. We'll give you some other ways to remind you. But in today's age, life is busy. Just turn that on. Again, that happens after you enter in your date as well as your time. Now, the last thing is if you want to add notes in for yourself, if you just need a little bit of context, you can add that in there. Otherwise, this is pretty much set. This is the task that I need to set for myself. I'll select done. And so when I come back to this trip, go into my task and automations, I'll have this right here for me to click into. I can always check this off when I'm done. But you'll also see up at the top, there's this little clipboard. This is something you can click into. And this is a little embarrassing for me, but you can see all of my overdue tasks, but you'll also see any tasks that are due for that day. So if you don't have the app and you aren't checking your email, you'll have these little notifications pop up right within here, and you can view all of your tasks that are due or upcoming. But that was a little bit about tasks. Let's add in an automation really quick. So we'll select add just like last time, but this time we're selecting automation. And if you remember, automations is where you're having Travefy send something out on your behalf. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll down. This is assigned yes to the correct trip. However, for our automation type, we have 4 different options within your trip that you can do. Do you want to automate the email itinerary invite out? You can do that. You want to invite or do a form automation, itinerary chat message, or an invoice for your planning fee. That's always an option. Let's go ahead for today. Let's do the chat message. And the chat is available on both the proposal as well as the itinerary for my friends who are new to Travefy. Just want to mention that. But let's go ahead. I'm going to copy and paste a little bit of messaging in so you can see this with me. And what I'm pasting in is just a really quick message saying, hey, download the free Trip Plans app. That's the app for travelers that they can download for free to view their itinerary. And I'm giving them a little link that will show in there, but I want this to send out a week in advance before their itinerary starts. But instead of having to pull up my calendar, scroll through to the start date and figure out what a week before that date is, I can instead go to our scheduled date area. And last time we did a fixed date. However, you might notice, and I'll zoom in so you can see that a bit better, an automatic due date. There's 2 types of dates you can set. The fixed date where you have that specific date in mind, or an automatic one where it's a bit based off of the actual start dates included in your itinerary. So let me show you what I mean. This itinerary starts on October 31st. I want this message to send a week in advance. So what I'll do is I'll say, instead of 1, I'll say 7 days before the itinerary start date. You have a few different options if you click into that drop-down arrow. But now, this chat message will send 7 days beforehand. Let's add a time in. I usually like to send things out between 9 and 10 a.m. We'll do that. And because this is not a task reminder for ourselves, we don't need to remind ourselves to do it. Travefy will take care of it for you. So we'll go ahead and select done together. So not only do we have that task reminder, we also have in that automation. This will send out that chat for me, and I don't have to be the one to type it up, hit send. Now, the last thing that we're going to do before I hand it off to Ashlyn is we're going to go to our library and we're going to create what's called a task list. So we just put in our 2 tasks, or our 1 task, or 1 automation. If you think to yourself, I do the same couple of steps every time I have a new client or every time I have a trip, maybe it's a book trip or maybe it's a new client workflow, I highly recommend going to your library just like I am. This is where you can add in all of the resources that you can use again and again, and creating a task list. If you remember, that's where an automation and a task reminder are joined together. And so we're in our library within Travefy. We're going to select new library item up at the top left. And from here, I'm going to select the task list option. From here, we have the task list option show up on the right-hand side so we can start making some edits. For my title, I'm going to call this our Travefy TIQUE workshop. Ooh, if I can type that in right. In Travefy, you're going to become very familiar with labels. This is how you can organize in Travefy. I'm just going to type in webinar for hours. And now you'll have the options of what do you want to add in first? Do you want to add in an automation or do you want to add a task in? For myself, let's go ahead and add a task. And I'm going to copy and paste quite a bit of information so you don't have to see me type all of this up. But again, task reminders, let's say it, everyone, a task reminder is a reminder for yourself to get something done. This is a reminder for me to get a handwritten note to my client's address. When do I want this due? I want to get this done one day after the itinerary start date. So that way when they get back home, they have that little thank you note in the mail. Now, let's add it in time. As always, I'm going to give myself grace. We'll give ourselves till 5 p.m. that day. And as always, once we add in that date and that time on a task reminder, go ahead, throw that remind me toggle on. It doesn't hurt. Let's go ahead, select done. Let's add in one last thing here. We're going to do one automation. And it's very similar to what we saw on that trips page. How do we want to set it up? What type of automation are we doing? This is where Travefy is sending something out on my behalf. This is a little tip that we got from an advisor. And this is where they actually do automate an itinerary invite, usually 180 days after the trip start date or even 372 days after the trip end date, just as a reminder to that client, like, hey, do you remember how amazing this trip was? Let me know if you need any help for some plans that are coming up, but I really enjoyed working with you. Something along those lines to continue to reach out to your clients to get referrals, to get things in motion. And so I'm going to add in a little message. We're just going to copy and paste some stuff in here. As you can see, really quick, it's been almost 6 months since you took this trip. Let me know what's going on. How can I help? Let's schedule that date out. We're going to do 180 days after that itinerary start date. You can do the end date, start date, doesn't really matter. But for the time, let's do 10 a.m. We'll close out of that. And now we have a little task list. So I swear this takes only a second and then I'll hand it off to Ashlyn. But let's get into that birthday cruise again. And let's add that task list. Again, task list, automations, and tasks, but we don't have to set it each time, especially if this is something that we like to do for contacts, as well as any trip that we're doing. So we're back in our trip. We're tasking automations, little throwback. Here's that task. Here's that automation we set up just a little bit earlier. Now I'm going to select task list. And from here, I'm going to grab this Travefy TIQUE workshop one we just did together. Which one do I want to have this go on? The one that my client approved, of course. We'll import that over. And now you might notice I didn't have to put those due dates in because it's being based off of the start dates within that itinerary. And it's just all set and ready to go for me. So I can start checking things off of my list. Travefy is going to start sending things out. And it's going to save me a lot more time because at the end of the day, if you remember, we want to grow, but we only have a certain capacity. And so this can help make sure that we're saving time on each client so we can add in a client or two to our task. But with that being said, I know you've heard enough from me. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I'm going to let Ashlyn take over and get excited for what she's got to show.
That was awesome, Bonnie. I'm so excited you showed all of that because a lot of what you mentioned are things that we have included in our templates to help you save time. So let me pull up this presentation for you all. All right, can you see my screen okay? Perfect. Okay. So before we get started, I just kind of want to introduce TIQUE. I saw that there were some of you who are not familiar with us yet, but we are brand designers, workflow strategists, industry experts, and a team of 5. So Robin and Jennifer, the two at the bottom in the photo, they transformed a simple itinerary creation company into a multi-million-dollar agency brand. And now we're helping others scale seamlessly into their dream businesses. So I'm Ashlyn. I handle all of the workflow side of things. And if you're familiar with Niche, I'm in there a lot as well. And Amanda Lynn is our creative director and Angela is our operations manager. And so today in my slides, what I wanted to show you guys was an introduction into our client communication templates, the different types that we offer. I might tease a couple things that are on the way later in the year as well. The ways to implement the templates into your account. I'm also going to show you a little sneak peek at what the templates look like inside of a Travefy account. Some best practices and tips and a little freebie at the end. So here's our little introduction. Our best-selling product is our standard FIT template. So this is for somebody who's pretty much booking any type of travel, international getaways, all-inclusive escapes, anything like that. This is our primary set of templates that we developed that can pretty much service any type of trip. And you can see all of the inclusions down below. So this is going to include email templates that are already created for you. So just like what Bonnie was showing, where she was adding in an email template and setting up automations, we have the emails written out for you. We have the forms created, and we also have 2 fully built out task lists. One that is going to be the first set of tasks from the moment that your client reaches out until the moment that your trip is booked. And then that second set is going to be tied to the due date of the trip. It's going to have automations added in, and it is going to be from the point of the booking all the way until your client has returned, and even some like 6-month post-travel touch points as well. We also include header graphics for emails. So I know that these don't typically work inside of like Traveljoy or Travefy emails, but you can use them in your Gmail. I've also heard that people are repurposing them onto their forms and kind of like adding them in and customizing forms, which is very cool. So that's a little tip. And then we have editable how we work guides and what to do when guides that you can customize and download and send and use with your clients as well as a helpful getting started guide to teach you how to, there's instructions on how to implement everything into your account and how to use them properly. So this is our standard FIT. We also have Disney inspired templates. So if you sell Disney travel, this is going to be right up your alley. Everything is customized to Disney, which is very exciting. Similar inclusions here. Then we also have cruise templates. These are more tailored towards oceanic cruises, so just something to note. But one of the teasers is that we are going to be working on river cruises that should launch towards the end of the year. So I know that that is something that everybody has been very excited about, as am I. This one is really cool because it comes with additional email templates tailored towards specific cruise lines. So there are 17 of the most popular cruise lines that we have pretty much taken any information your client would ever need and put them into the templates for you so that you can kind of share the information that you need for each cruise line with your client. And then we have our destination wedding templates as well, which is a huge seller for anybody doing destination weddings, great for honeymooners as well. But this one's actually split in. So we have templates for wedding couples as well as wedding guests and task lists accordingly to each of those types of clients. So how to get your templates into Travefy? There are 2 ways. We have the manual build, where we have given you all of the resources to take it and implement it into your account, copy and paste style. Or we have share codes where you can seamlessly implement into your account using pretty much the click of a button. So thank you to the Travefy team for making that accessible to people, because this is a huge time saver. If you don't have the time to manually build every email and every form, this is quite literally a lifesaver. I love the share codes. And so all of our templates and share codes are for purchase, just something to mention. They are not included in the Travefy membership. But if you wish to kind of pursue that route, it is going to make your life so easy. So those are your 2 methods for implementing into your account. How the templates look in Travefy. So now I'm going to pop out of here and give you a sneak peek into our Travefy account. So over here, I'm in our library, and you can all still see my screen, I hope. Yeah, okay, perfect. So we have built out all of the different types in our account, but I'm going to show you, for example, let's type in Disney. So you can see we have our forms, we have our messages, we have our task list added into our account. And so for an example, let's just take a peek at an email template. I'm trying to think of which one I want to do. Let's look at the booking confirmation. So you can see right here, we have a spot for you to add in your client's name. We have the email typed out for you, next steps, things your clients will need to do. If they've purchased, if they haven't purchased insurance, what to expect from you, what's upcoming, and then just kind of anything your client would need to know at the point of the booking confirmation. So we have all kinds of email templates from the moment that they've reached out. There are 44 included in these templates. So anything you could need, birthday, emails, anniversary reminders, out of office notices, passport expirations, all of that good stuff. We have forms created as well. So I will give you a little glimpse at one of our forms. I'm always so picky about which one I want to choose. We can just do like our 6-month post-travel form. So I'll give you a preview at what this looks like. But this is just kind of like for Disney. This one is tailored to Disney. The other ones are not. But 6 months after your client returns from their trip, this will automatically go out with those task lists, and they can kind of let you know if there's anything upcoming that they want to pursue. It looks so nice in Travefy. And then it'll ask them, are you ready to start planning your next adventure? And if they say yes, you can send them a new inquiry form and start a new trip. So it looks beautiful. It works great. Our clients have been loving these. And then I'll show you what a task list looks like here in the library, but I'm also going to show you what it looks like when you import it into a trip. So we have our new lead task list. Again, that's going to cover everything from the moment they reach out until you are booking that trip. And then same thing, this next one is going to be from the moment that you're sending that booking confirmation all the way until you're archiving that trip in your system. And you can see we have automations sprinkled in throughout. There are 6 automations included, but if you want to add more or take some away, it is fully yours to customize. These are templates. So if you want to make any changes, you are always welcome to. And so this is kind of a glimpse at what it would look like when you've built it into your account. We have all of the templates added in, so there's tons and tons in our account. But if you were just purchasing one, it would be typically 44 emails, but more if you're purchasing destination wedding or cruise. And so here I am in our demo trip right over here, and I am the traveler on this trip. We have a proposal over here, but I want to add in some tasks and automations. So just like Bonnie was showing earlier, we can add in automation task or task list, but you would want to add in a task list because they have been pre-built out for you. So the first set, let's stick with Disney today. We have our new lead task list. So we will click that and it will import it in for us. And so as we're working, we can kind of click in, see what form we want to send. It's going to have that message attached to it. And you can just go over to your people. You can send them messages. I'm in the wrong spot. Just kidding. We're going to send them forms. So we're going to send Disney. We want to send 01 new client inquiry form. So we can click in. Oh, this is pulling it up. I'm doing the wrong thing. I want to
I
send
was
it
gonna say, you
Right.
probably will. There's a few different ways, as you can see just
And
from
take that.
Ashlyn. You can do the form just like that, or you can also go into your task and automations and automate the form right from within that area. But yeah, it really just depends on your client. Do they want it sent now, or do you want to automate it in a week from now? It's totally up to you and where you're at with that client. I'll let
Exactly.
Ashlyn continue.
I found the button. I am a mess today. So I've sent my form to the client, like I've pulled up, I want to send it. You can hyperlink it and share it as well. But here I just want to make sure I'm editing that email before I send it to my client. And then this you would have tailored to your business already. So once they're added into your templates, you'll customize all of this and save it so that it's ready to go whenever you send it to your client. And then once you're ready, you'll just click send and we'll send that form. We can keep track of forms over here, which is amazing. You can see those responses anytime. And then we can just go back to our tasks and check it off when we're done. And so as you work through this and you check off all of your tasks, I'm just going to check these off and show you so I can import the next one. But once that trip is booked and you're ready to import the next one, you have your dates added into your itinerary. When you add in that next set, it's really nice because we have those automations added in. And they are tied to the due date. So we can see all of our task dates, our times, all of that good stuff. And we can see what is automatic or what we would need to manually send. So everything is so seamless. in here. And pretty much all of the notes are added in for what you would need to send and when. And then if something isn't signed, we have follow-up emails saying we need your signature, follow-up forms, all that good stuff. So that's a little glimpse inside. I'm going to go back to my presentation now and kind of talk to you guys about some best practices and tips tailored to our templates with Travefy. So emails in Travefy right now are only sent with forms. So we have created extra forms. If you've used other versions of the templates in other systems or general, we created extra forms to work seamlessly with Travefy. And so if you want to send an email that doesn't have a form attached, you can always send it through your external platform. You can also send messages now in Travefy too, so you can always copy and paste a message to them. For our email header graphics that are included, again, they're not going to work like hyperlinks and attachments and like images don't go with the emails that go with forms, but you're welcome to use them externally. We still wanted to give you access to them, but it's up to you how you want to customize and play around with them. And I mentioned a lot of people like to customize these things and add them into forms, but also the itineraries. You can send hyperlinks and attachments in the itineraries, and that's actually where I recommend sending them. Jennifer had a travel agency before we did this. I was her client experience manager, and we used Travefy, and that is how we liked to send these things. We like to add them into the itinerary. You have the info and documents section. So not everything needs to be sent with an email, and I personally think adding it into the itinerary is better because your clients are going to have access all in one place. I highly recommend the share codes if you are going to do the implementation process, just because it is a click of a button and it adds the template into your account, makes it so easy breezy for you. Make sure to hyperlink your call schedulers into the forms that we've created for that. There's a spot for you to copy and paste it in. So if you are setting those up, don't forget that. That's just something I wanted to mention. And then if you purchase multiple workflow types, you saw that we had labels in there. I highly recommend creating a system for labeling your templates to make it easy for you to like search how we search Disney today and find what you're looking for. So those are some of my tips. And then our last slide on my end is a little freebie. So we wanted to share 5 free client communication email templates with you guys. So we have the hyperlink down at the bottom that you can write down and pop it into the browser, or you can scan the QR code at the bottom, and that will take you to those 5 free canned email templates. So that is it for me, you guys.
Amazing. And I will just say, just as a last note, if you know that you need to get in on task and automations, it's something that you've been avoiding. Not only is it easy to set up, but also TIQUE makes it so much easier because they have done all the research. They know what really works and they have it set up for you and they make it easy for you to import that in. So if you have any questions, I know Ashlyn's probably going to be going through the chat, going through the Q&A right now. But definitely perfect. Check out their site. I think we put that in the chat, but we'll throw that in again. But I'm going to let Stephanie take it away and tell you some upcoming updates that are going to work really well with what we just talked about.
Yes. Oh my gosh. First of all, this is amazing. I was trying to do questions and then hopefully we'll get to them. So I'll make this quick. But I am going to share. Actually, Bonnie, if it's easier, do you have those slides? I'll let you share because I only have a few slides here. So coming soon. Now I get the honor of this, and I already got to tell a couple of you privately that, because you asked, and I was like, don't worry, it's coming. So Travefy is going to be working really hard on our CRM side right now, already are. All the people in this office right here, they are working hard at all this. But here's some of the things you can start to expect really soon. One of them, enhanced contacts. Now, as you saw, if you've been a Travefy user over just the past few months, you might have seen that we have overgone some little facelifts, some cool interface changes. So we're just going to get our contacts to kind of match that to just, again, help your flow, streamline it, organize everything. Another one is like that smart contact linking, which we already have. And I know somebody had asked about that. They said like, hey, is there a way that I can like put my client's information in a form if I have it? Yes, that's what that does, the smart fields, things like that. So you expect a lot of that coming up just very soon here. And then you can go to the next slide. Because the next one is a big everybody. Now, this is the one I told one or two of you already in here. I private messaged you because you asked, and I was like, that's coming. Client communication, we're putting email. This is happening right now. So expect this soon that you will be able to, we're starting with Gmail, but then there's IMAP. Definitely some different things, some variations that people are starting to, some people said, double awesome, I know. It's super cool. So that way you're going to start integrating your email in here. So exciting. So stay tuned for that because Bonnie and I have only been able to see little glimpses, so we can't really explain 100%. I don't like what it will look like, but we are going to be in that very soon and then training everybody. So get prepared. It is coming. And then the final thing that we're going to be working on is invoicing, supplier invoicing. This is going to be coming very, very soon. Now, all this stuff, when I say soon, I mean soon, like in the next month, 2 months, maybe quicker. They're hard at work doing this. So as you can see, just a lot of the CRM stuff coming together, and it's really going to help with all this. That's why I think the day that we scheduled this workshop today is so perfect, because I think if you can get in there, start getting yourself set up, we're just going to keep adding more and more to just enhance it. So get excited, everybody. Cannot wait. Stay tuned. We will be sure to let everybody know about all of this coming down the pipeline.
Amazing. No, that is awesome. We have so many fun things planned, but I know, like I said at the beginning, I know some of you already have Travefy. Some of you are coming from TIQUE and you want to know what Travefy is about, or maybe you are just hearing about us for the first time. But if you want to get started with your task and automations and all of the other features that we didn't touch on today, we have an annual subscription for $35 a month. That's going to get you all of the features. It's going to get you those marketing tools. It's going to give you task automations, itineraries, content, supplier integration, so much more. But not only that, let me get to that next one. We also have different quarterly and monthly plans available, just because if you want to start out on something and you want to change it later on, we're flexible with you and where you're at in your career, where you're at right now. I know sometimes those commission hits don't hit until after the beginning of the month, so don't worry, we've got your back. And you can always start a 10-day free trial. Absolutely do that. We have an amazing sales team who will help reach out to you to check on you. If you want to learn more about task and automations, that's the main focus for you. We're happy to set up a one-on-one walkthrough with you, help answer any questions. But at the end of the day, for both TIQUE and Travefy, we're always wanting to make sure that we're going to be a good fit for you, that we're bringing value to your business. And so absolutely reach out to us. I swear we aren't scary, but we do love chatting. But I'm going to go to this last slide and I'll stay on here for a bit. But if you want to start your free trial, use that QR code on the left-hand side. But if you are one of our current users, hello friends, scan that one on the right to set up your one-on-one training with us. Training spots fill up fast, I will say. So if you want to schedule that early out, you know that you're going to be back from vacation in a couple of weeks, go ahead, get something on our calendars. We'd love to see you. We'd love to chat with you. But is there anything else, Ashlyn, that you want to say before we just jump into questions?
I don't think so. I'm plowing through the chat right now, answering these questions. But I did share the link for the shop in there. If you did purchase the templates, the share codes are an add-on through the shop. We don't have them for sale on the shop. But if you email hello@tiquehq.com with any questions, or if you need any of those hyperlinks, we will be more than happy to send them over.
Amazing. Yeah, I realized as I asked you, Ashlyn, you were just heads down looking at the computer. I could see you typing. So
There's so many.
I'll let her get back to answering your questions there. But Stephanie, are there any questions that we can talk about right now since we have time?
Yes, absolutely. And Ashlyn, I won't, I'll try to be careful with, because I know you're typing back, but we do have a lot for TIQUE. So I'm going to ask those. But one, I'll give you a second here to keep messaging back in the chat if you want, because this one's more Travefy side. So Maria had asked, is there an @ or tag feature to drop in details easily, like client name or travel dates, stuff like that? And that's what I was kind of hinting on just a little bit ago, that we do have Smart Field, and Smart Fields are the coolest thing ever. Bonnie, I'll have you show those because they are so sweet, and highly recommend use them if you can.
I was going to say, and we have all these different terminologies. I always joke about this, but we should honestly have a vocab book for Travefy that we can send out. But Smart Fields, think of that as a feature that connects your form responses to a client's profile in Travefy. It's the magic stuff that's going to help make sure that you don't have to manually enter in information like their names, like their birthdays. Just because, you know, we've been there where we've looked at one thing, we've typed it in and realized we completely messed up. Smart Fields takes away the option for human error. And so let me show you a bit of what I'm talking about. So Smart Fields, you can do this for contact information such as name, address, phone number, I'm missing something in there, email, but you can also create custom Smart Fields in Travefy. So if you are someone who wants to have someone enter in their birthday and that be populated on their contact, that's something you can do. I know allergies, frequent flyer numbers, those are all custom Smart Fields that you can do. But let me click into this one. As you can see, we're asking for a full name on this credit card authorization form. It's a smart field, and you can see all the different question types that you can ask in a form, and it's as a contact name. So that means when Jane Doe fills this out, it's going to create a contact automatically based off of the information that are smart fields. Let me show you another one. Let's add one in together since we have more than enough time, it looks like. I'm going to select add new. Let's add a question in together. And I have to cheat a little bit. I need to go to my smart fields and see what all kinds of fields that I have. But yeah, you know what? Let's say that we want to ask for a birthday on this form. I'm going to say, please enter in your birthday. For the smart field, it's not going to be a contact address, of course. It's going to be that birthday field. We can require that, yes or no, check mark. If you want to put in your own terms and conditions, of course, do that. But now when we preview that form, I'm just scrolling down. This is our desktop view. You can see what it looks like on mobile as well. But they can enter in their birthday, and where that information goes, let's hop around really quick. Smart Fields, again, is that feature that connects a form response to a client's profile. What happens is any fields that they answer is going to show up right in this column, whether it's their email, phone, address, or even those custom fields like a frequent flyer number, allergies, birthdays. I think Cynthia here, yep, she has an anniversary down. This is all coming from a form response. So I could get really into the weeds on that. Smart Fields is one of those things that sometimes gets looked over, but it is such a great tool for your forms. And also just why having form templates is so amazing, because you don't have to set that up ahead of time. You can have TIQUE do it for you, or you can look for different templates within Travefy. That is always an option, but hopefully that didn't get us too off track, but
yeah, no, it's the beauty of it all being together. I think that's just like so easy, so nice. And Bonnie, I'll actually have you stay on the screen because a question just came in that we can answer really quick. Someone mentioned that they use a different CRM for their client data. So is there a way to merge that data to Travefy? And there is. So can you show how do you import contacts?
Absolutely. So there are a few ways that contacts get added in here. And while I'm on the screen, you can probably see the two that I'm talking about. You can either select new contact, which just opens up a brand new contact profile for you to fill out with information yourself. Otherwise, you can import your contacts over through any of these types of files, but we also make it easy where you can download the template file. You can put the information into the certain columns and rows that you need to. Or if you are a whiz yourself, I know a lot of you are actually spreadsheet experts, just look at the example right from within here, and this is something that you can import over. So if you have their birthday information already, you can import it where all of their birthdays come over. If you want to import their, allergies or any preferences, you can import it all in one go. But I absolutely, if you want to save time, templates, always the answer, of course. That's the name of the game today. Download that template file and you'll see a good example of how you want to set that up.
Yeah.
But that's a great question.
I still think for a product team, that is one of the coolest things that they ever they made, and I just randomly discovered that one time that they have it so you can just download. I'm like, genius. It's amazing. Saves you so much
Genius.
time. So really cool.
Yes.
Now I do have another question here really quick. And Ashlyn, this is for you. She is
I'm ready. I'm
multitasking on
ready.
this one. So you had mentioned about the cruise template. So Anne had asked, do the cruise templates include any river cruise lines? So I know you mentioned that you're gonna do a river cruise one specific later, but could you still use like the cruise one? Or
You could use the cruise one for now. The 17 cruises, I don't believe are like river cruise specific, but there are like Viking is one of them, and I know that they also have river cruises. So you could absolutely use them now, but we do plan on creating river cruises later. This one was more tailored to oceanic cruising, and the cruise line's chosen as well. So if you need something now, you can absolutely use it. Just might need to tailor the verbiage a little bit more towards those types of trips.
awesome. Yeah. So cool. So versatile. Very nice. So another question here is, this just came in from JD, is if I have over 10,000 contacts, awesome that you have that many, can they be entered? And yes, they can. One thing I would recommend though, since that is a lot, is I would chat with our support. So down in the bottom left-hand corner, I would just chat with them, and then that way we can kind of work with you to make sure that your CSV file that you're about to import is correct. And they can just double check, make sure, just because that is so many that we want to make sure that it comes in. But that is the beauty. There is unlimited. So very nice in there as well. Okay, let's see. There are a lot of questions, so I'm just gonna look in here. Oh, okay. So I know, oh, and actually I think Ashlyn already said this, but there was someone earlier who mentioned that if they downloaded some templates in TIQUE, if they want to talk to someone about some other templates, you can email them, and I believe it was at hello@TIQUE, and then Ashlyn put that in here too.
Yes, hello@teakhq.com. That'll go to our whole team so we can kind of disperse from there. If you want to message me directly, I'm Ashlyn@teakhq.com, and I'm happy to answer any of those questions as well.
Perfect. Yeah, I figured I should probably throw that in there as well. And then this was a good question because I'm not gonna lie, I have seen TIQUE in action, and I would say yes. But Eric asked, how complicated is it to install the TIQUE templates? Is it cut and paste? It is easy. So first of all, I have seen it. It's really easy. And then that's also where Ashlyn shared. So after this question got asked, you had shared, Ashlyn, about those share codes, and like it makes it even easier. So at first I was typing out my answer to you, Eric, and I was gonna say yes, copy and paste it. And I was like, wait a minute, they have share codes. It's even easier. So really
Yes.
cool.
So we have done the copying and pasting for you. If you purchase the share codes, all emails, all forms, all task lists are already built out. You will just click a button to add each email, each form, each task list into your account. It makes the implementation process so easy. That is one of the reasons why we don't offer like team member implementations, like for me to go in and implement it for you, because it really just, if you purchase those, it is like there's no need for me to go in and do it. It's all done. It's all connected for you automatically. It is something that we have talked about adding. I am going on maternity leave very soon. So it's something that we've talked about adding after I get back if there is the need for additional help. But the share codes that the team like gave us access to create for you made the implementation process so easy. You could do it in like 30 minutes if you just click those buttons and add them into your account. So that's why we haven't offered them. There's just really no need for us. But the share codes are, yeah, everybody's kind of saying they make it so easy. So you would buy the templates, and then you have the option to add on share codes when you're purchasing the template. So there's not a way to just buy the share codes. You would buy the templates and you can add on the share codes.
Perfect. So simple, really easy in there. Another question, Bonnie, this one's for you, is so Lori asked, can you go over how to add the form to a client in an email? And this is kind of a two-part question because I had answered this during, but someone had asked, like, so first, can you show how you would add like a form to a client or like for a client? But then someone also had asked, like, in one trip, can you choose who it goes to? Like, if you only want to go to one traveler, can you do that? And yes, you can. So if you just could kind of show like how you decide where it's going, who it's going to.
Absolutely. So if you remember, we didn't really focus in on the contact portion of this that much, but since I'm already here, we might as well. I'm going to go into Bob Smith, for instance. Same thing as with your trips. When you select add, you had that automation task and task list option. You can set up an automation where you are sending a form right from within here. So this is where if you have those saved messages from TIQUE, you can go ahead and generate those so you don't have to set it up each time. Obviously, I only have a proposal message. That doesn't really make sense for a form, but that's going to make sure you don't have to spend time typing it up or having to copy and paste each time as well. I'm going to actually go to our trip really quick. Let's just go to the one that we've been hanging out on, and we'll select add from here, and we'll go ahead and do an automation. But same type of setup, same type of layout. When you are ready, you can go ahead and you select which form you want to do. You can decide, do you want this to send to everyone who is on that trip, or do you just have a few travelers who just need a little extra reminder that they need to get that filled out? You can choose either. You can go ahead, you can type in their name if they're on here. I don't know if Cynthia here, oh, she is. We'll go ahead, I'll put Cynthia's name in here. But this message area, that is the message that's going to be in that email that gets sent to them. And so that's where TIQUE comes in. But also, if you just want to type something up, that's where that message will appear. As always, add in your due dates, add in your times. But hopefully that helps answer that question. And actually, I'm going to run with this a little bit further. So I saw a question in here where they were asking to see what a header in the forms looked like. I don't actually have any of TIQUE's headers to give you an example, but I want to go back to my library just to show you, if you do have those templates purchased already, how you can incorporate them in your forms, because I think that's a great idea. You can incorporate it in your forms, incorporate it in your itinerary, like Ashlyn was saying. But you might have noticed it on this credit card authorization of mine. I have this little photo here. And when I preview it, this is the first thing that a client sees if they're on their mobile device trying to fill a form out, or if they're on the desktop, my logo is front and center. What you can do to add in your own logo or trying adding in those headers is you'll go down, you'll select add new, and select your text and image only. This is what you'll want to add in, just so if you want that logo to appear, you can. I know a lot of folks will also put in just a little message to the clients or a little bit of instructions in this area as well. That can just help personalize a form even more. And you can add as many of these as you want to. I know some people will use the text and image only if they're doing a river cruise, for example, to show the picture of the cabin that they might want to go with. There's a lot of different ways that you can move around with the form options, but if you are wanting to try out that header, you're wanting to put it on your forms, text and image only is the way to go. But don't worry too, I know we're going over a lot of information and a lot of this is really specific information. So if you ever want to just chat us and say, hey, I know we talked about adding my logo into a form, I completely forgot how, send us a message, we'll know what you're talking about. We can send you the guideline on how to do that too. But Stephanie, did you see any others that have been coming up a lot?
No, the only thing I was going to mention is if you could pull up to get like the training and stuff and like start the trial again, because I know that's another one too, that some of the questions might be best, like if you want to do a one-on-one with our team, that can help as well. So definitely remember to schedule those and chat like Bonnie just showed us too.
Absolutely. And I'll actually go back in. Oh, let me go log in really quick. So that's where it would look like when you go to Travefy.com. If you want to start your free trial, I'm logging into another account of mine. For anyone who is in your account currently and you want to set up a demo with us, or you want to set up training, so on and so forth, that learn button up at the top right will be where you can find our support center. We can also send you a link to this if you chat us or if you email us. But we have some really quick getting started guide videos. I know we only have an hour to try and squeeze all of this information in, so it can be a lot to try and soak it all in. These are going to be like 4 or 5 minute videos on pretty much every feature within Travefy. I also know TIQUE has an amazing support team to help you as well with your questions, especially those share codes. I think that's the most popular one I've been seeing, is how can I take advantage of those codes? So email them, email us. We have so many resources available for you, especially we know schedules are crazy. We have some little tidbits here and there, or we can always sign up for that one-on-one training or demo. That's always a great option.
Man, this has been so much fun, I have to
I
say.
know. There's so much going on
Yes.
too on both sides. And really, again, thank you so much for taking time out of your Monday. Nonetheless, I know it's the beginning of a week, so we've loved hanging out with you guys. But if you do have any remaining questions that we happen to miss, I'm so sorry if we missed it. Please email us, send us in a question. We'll get looped in and try and help answer those for you. But with that being said, anything that you want to just leave people off with, Ashlyn? Otherwise, I think this pretty much wraps
I
it up.
think that's it. We do have demos in our shop for each of the template types. I'm happy to give you guys a glimpse at header graphics. I didn't have a way to upload it, but if you email us, we're happy to give you a little sneak peek. You get the Canva files for everything. Yeah, I think that's it. This was so
Amazing.
great. Thank you, Bonnie and Stephanie.
Yes, thank
Absolutely.
you.
Well, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you next time.
See
Bye-bye.
everyone.
Bye.